You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke.
For so long, America has been plagued by the woke virus and the overzealous mobsters that promote it. This cultural epidemic has seeped into every sector and institution alike, from education to healthcare and even the military. But following President Trump's emphatic win at the polls in November 2024, woke leftists were thrown into panic as it became apparent that the divisive and manipulative agenda would no longer be tolerated at the Oval Office and across all public institutions.
I'm sorry. No!
This isn't a surprise given that during his campaign, President Trump repeatedly promised to end wokeness in America. But does he really have what it takes to do it? Donald Trump's hatred for hyper-politically correct ideologies has been well documented over the years, even during his first tenure between 2017 and 2021. Back then, he clamped down on several woke-oriented ideas and organizations, particularly those associated with the LGBT community. As president, Trump opposed the Equality Act, a proposed legislation aimed at providing federal civil rights protections for sexual orientation and gender identity. The president never publicly explained why he opposed the bill, and really, he didn't need to because an official statement from the White House did the job for him. The Trump administration absolutely opposes discrimination of any kind and supports the equal treatment of all, the statement read. However, this bill in its current form is filled with poison pills that threaten to undermine parental and conscience rights. Unsurprisingly, President Trump's resistance to the bill sparked a backlash from the LGBT community, many of whom accuse him of endangering their lives and promoting employment discrimination against transgender people. As if that wasn't enough, left-wing activists said he hated women. Some even went as far as calling him a citing allegations made by Elizabeth Jean Carroll. Addressing these allegations in detail would require an entire video in itself. But to state the facts briefly, President Trump was never convicted of and he has publicly emphasized his respect and love for women on multiple occasions.
I respect women. I love women. I cherish women. You know, Hillary Clinton said he shouldn't cherish. Well, I said...
The woke community, however, seemed unmoved. They ignored the facts and carried on with their relentless attacks. For them, everything President Trump did was an excuse to vilify him. But one particular incident gave them the leverage to intensify their attacks even more. Before we reveal this incident, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to our Christian Celebrities channel. It will help us stand strong when the woke leftists come for us in the comments section. Now that you've done that, it's time to reveal the incident. Well, you probably know it already. But in case you don't know yet, it's none other than the Capitol attack, which happened on the 6th of January, 2021. As with every other national controversy, the conclusion on who is right or wrong depends on which side of the political divide you belong to. For the left, however, it was just another opportunity to attack President Trump. But mere verbal attacks weren't enough. So, they impeached him during the final days of his tenure in January 2021. This made him one of only 3 U.S. presidents to be impeached, and the only one to be impeached twice. Following President Trump's departure from office, the machinery of the woke leftists went into overdrive, reversing many of his policies. With little or no pushback from the political class, the left became even more emboldened. They maligned his name and persecuted him using various underhand tactics. In addition, they hijacked the educational system, effectively forcing their liberal ideologies on students of all ages. For instance, they introduced critical race theory, an academic concept that argues racism is embedded in many aspects of American society, including government institutions and policies. As if that wasn't enough, they also endorsed the promotion of sexually explicit LGBTQ content in schools. For context, materials depicting scenes of pornography and incest were allegedly distributed across elementary and high school libraries. When concerned parents voiced their outrage over the blatant infusion of wokeness into the school curriculum, Attorney General Merrick Garland threatened to send the FBI after them. And in September 2021, Terry McAuliffe, the Democratic gubernatorial candidate in Virginia, said this.
Yeah, I stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. Because,
So, essentially, radical progressives want parents to pay tuition fees but have no say in what their children are being taught. It's almost unbelievable, but that's what America has become today. But guess what? The woke leftists weren't done just yet. Next, they turned their attention to the military, introducing DI training and other ideological indoctrination initiatives. These issues created a public divide among citizens, and unfortunately for the left, it became the fuel that powered Donald Trump's presidential campaign in 2024. Riding on the wave of outrage against the woke agenda, President Trump positioned himself as a strong contender for the most coveted political seat in America. His messages resonated with a significant portion of the American population, especially his pledge to dismantle the stronghold of wokeness across the country. Now that over 77 million Americans have entrusted him with a mandate to lead, it's time for President Trump to deliver on that promise. But how exactly does he plan to do it? As part of his plans to curb the overreach of woke culture across America, President Donald Trump has outlined several reforms he intends to implement during his administration. At the top of his agenda is the educational system. For starters, President Trump is expected to rescind several progressive executive orders issued by his predecessor, including Title IX legislation, which prohibits discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. In addition, President Trump is keen to eliminate diversity initiatives, critical race theory, gender ideology, and other controversial racial, sexual, or political content from school curricula. Experts believe these are some of the low-hanging fruits President Trump can address within the first few weeks of his term. However, other reforms may require more time and political maneuvering behind the scenes. This includes his plan to dismantle the Department of Education and establish a new credentialing body to certify teachers who embrace patriotic values. Of course, there will be resistance, especially since some of these reforms may require congressional approval. Nonetheless, the president is committed to doing everything within his constitutional power to ensure these changes are implemented as quickly as possible, even if it means fining non-compliant schools and institutions up to their entire endowment. President Trump is also turning his attention to the military, which has faced criticism for promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives. Reforming the military has been one of President Trump's priorities from the start, but it gained even more importance after he met Matthew Lomier on the campaign trail. Lomier, a former Space Force commander, was dismissed in 2021, rendering him ineligible for a pension. His offense? Criticizing the rise of DEI initiatives within the armed forces. For this, the military leadership under the Biden-Harris administration not only dismissed him, but also revoked his pension. Upon learning of this, President Trump vowed to establish a task force, including ex-Commander Lomier, to monitor and hold woke generals accountable. This task force will also work to eliminate diversity training within the armed forces. Although it's still early days, it's clear that President Trump is aggressively pursuing this agenda. The framework for the Special Task Force against woke military officials has already been designed, and all that remains are a few final approvals before operations commence. The selection of Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense is another strong statement from the president. Hegseth, a former Army National Guard officer and Fox News commentator, has been a vocal critic of woke policies within the military. If confirmed by the Senate, he will play a pivotal role in President Trump's mission to eradicate wokeness from the military and beyond. Of course, this issue extends far beyond the military and educational sectors. To tackle it effectively, President Trump will need to implement sweeping reforms across other sectors, including the media. He will also need to sign numerous executive orders to undo the damage caused by the previous administration. It won't be easy. But the good news is that he's willing, and more importantly, he has the mandate of Americans to take on this fight. Now the big question is, will he succeed? Let us know what you think in the comment below.